Oh, right. Sorry. You're going to hear that there's a recording in progress. We record all our meetings. This isn't anything special or, nefarious or subversive that we are doing tonight. This is something we do every month, and we've been doing ever since COVID. We actually will probably continue to try to figure out a way to do this. We're getting a lot of positive response from people that say, hey, I can't always make it. I got to put my kids to bed, so on and so forth. It's lovely to be able to go back and view the recording of the meeting that I couldn't make. So we will continue to do that. We also feel like in certain, presentations with developers, we haven't had any of those of late, but that get a little, shall we call it, contentious. It's always good to be able to, call them to task to say, yeah, that's not exactly what you said. All right, let me pull up the deck for tonight. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Thank you, James. Okay, welcome everybody. September 28th. So we are now, as you know, fourth Tuesday of every month. I do actually think Tuesdays are just more pleasant than Mondays. Monday evenings can be a little onerous. Monday all day can be a little onerous for everybody. So here we are. This is our new time slot for our monthly meetings. Thank you all for joining. My name is Eric Hoffman. I am the president of the Village Neighborhood Association for 2021. We have a really spectacular, intelligent, and active board, the names of which you see here, and several of whom are on this call. We do our board meetings just before this call, as we talk about a few things that we need to, from a kind of bookkeeping standpoint and business and future planning standpoint. So that happened this evening, as it always does. Our agenda tonight, it's relatively light, but I wanted to allow it to spend the proper amount of time because I've heard lots of discussions on the street while I walk my dog, just kind of all around regarding police presence in general, and then of course municipal utilities authority questions about what's going on. Obviously Ida was a big slap in the face to a lot of people, sort of more so than Sandy, which I think caught everyone by surprise. And I wanted to have an opportunity to just speak with them and allow you to answer any questions or ask any questions that you may have, and hear about any plans that are in motion and what sort of work is on the dockets these days. And then of course we always end with an open forum where you can say whatever you want, as long as it's within the guidelines of the Village Neighborhood Association, which is to just simply be civil. All right, so God, I can't wait till this one ends, but we are doing COVID-19 updates. We've been doing this for the better part of a year and a half, and I feel like they're important, they're informative. And we're going to do what we've always done. I'm going to just look at Tableau. Tableau is that wonderful database that has been put together by Jersey City, the city of Jersey City, and it tracks cases throughout, right down to counties and locales and nature of cases. So we'll look at that real quick. And then honestly, for me personally, COVID-19 these days is all about vaccines and it's all about testing. So I personally have had a run with COVID since we've last seen each other. My wife got it and my eldest daughter got it 7 days later. They were isolating in our back bedroom. My youngest daughter and I tested every 5 days, and miraculously, after 21 days of COVID in my house, neither of us got it. But yeah, it's obviously here in its variant form, and we're both vaccinated. I'm happy to, offer that up. So these were breakthrough infections for my wife. My daughter's not even 10 yet, so she's not eligible. But so let me just go into the tabs that I have open for that. So we can talk about that. So this is Tableau, as you've seen, as we've been going through. It's, it tracks the number of cases throughout Jersey City. It tracks them by area, right? So you can, see the different zip codes that are the makeup of Jersey City. You can click on any one of these. You can get, immediate data that's relative to those areas. It's really quite an amazing database that, there's a kind of, I'm going to call it a huge rabbit hole you can go down if you so desire. But what we typically do on these meetings is kind of just look at the big picture, right? Which is to say that, back in 2020, things spiked in a very ugly way, but then got under control very rapidly. And I'm going to say that, in many jurisdictions, in many regions around the country, this kind of peak was a plateau before it ever went down. So, Jersey City did a number of things right very early on to shut down, sort of completely and quickly. And then, of course, we had a spike again, last winter, and the current spike is relatively mild. So if I look at, for example, the last data entry here that I can grab is the 31 new cases 2 days ago. And again, 7-day average is at 33. So we're trending back in the right direction, going downhill on that. And again, how do we mitigate that? Testing, right? So testing is still available. It's free. I mentioned this last month. Like I said, my youngest daughter and I got tested every 5 days, and we tested once at the mobile site on Barrow, just between Christopher Columbus and Newark, and then we tested twice at the public health building on 6th Street at Marin. That one was our preferred lab. We got results from there almost every time in roughly 24 hours. The site on Barrow took about 3 days. So just be cognizant if you're looking for a quick, free, gold standard PCR test, right? Which is the RT-PCR, which is what they administer at the Fusion Labs at Marin. That's as good as it gets as far as testing goes. That's the place to go and get the quickest result. There are some out-of-network places in Jersey City. Again, I know more about testing in Jersey City than I care to admit, but I'm going to tell you that there's a place in the Heights that does it. It's completely out of network. It is not cheap. If I recall correctly, I believe it was $250 if you wanted the 48-hour test, and it was $350 per person if you wanted the 24-hour test. So again, that's a guarantee. The site on Marin is not a guarantee, but that's what they had been delivering in was, consistently about 24 hours. Sorry, pardon me. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, and so vaccines and vaccines are now, children 12 and older are eligible for vaccines. Boosters have been approved for certain populations, immunocompromised populations specifically. Where did that one go? Sorry, I'll let that tab go away. In any event, suffice it to say that, there are still plenty of locations for vaccines. This, I always show you guys, this is, jcnj.gov. That has this information, vaccines for ages 12 plus now available. You click on that and it gives you the number of locations in downtown Jersey City where to get vaccinated. And also here for the boosters, for those that are eligible, if you've got the Moderna, these are the 3 locations you can go get the booster for the Moderna. If you receive the Pfizer, these are the 3 locations you can go get the Pfizer. And hopefully you saw how simple that was. This is literally, jcnj.gov, or you type it out, you don't need to. And then you go into the front page and scroll through, and these are all the kind of highlights, many of which I'm going to just touch on here this evening. So enough about COVID-19, right? Okay, let's do some Jersey City updates. The Jersey City Public Library, we've been trying to coordinate a presentation with them. They do a lot more than you might realize. I went ahead and just put together a quick PDF deck of the the current programs that they have going on. And, it's quite impressive because these are all free programs, right? So I'll just flip through this. There are, I believe, 6 slides here. I can't see that number because the Zoom thing's in my way. Garden State Jazz Greats. So this is a series of presentations. This is not in person. This is a Zoom event, as you can see, that you can register in advance for this and learn about the history of some of the jazz greats that are in Jersey City. Pretty cool, right? God, I really dislike Adobe DC, but that's what I have to do to be able to see it. Okay, chair workout. Hey, we can do chair. They're hosting, again, this is a Zoom thing as well. It's on their Facebook page. They do chair aerobics. They do chair yoga. It's every Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. Again, these are programs that are, again, they're hosted by the Jersey City Public Library. Pretty cool stuff. Get back to school product giveaway called With You, She Can. Looking for supply donations that, will help underprivileged and economically challenged families in Jersey City with school supplies that they desperately need. So you can help drop off at Miller Library parking lot, excuse me. And again, we're going to attach this deck to this recording so that you can see any of these things that I'm showing you here. Open SAT prep, that's pretty cool. I remember when, I'm not going to tell you how many years ago, but many years ago, when I was prepping for the SAT, we spent a good amount of money for the Princeton Review to improve my scores, which it worked, but it wasn't cheap. This is a 6-week drop-in Zoom style program that, again, the public library is hosting and allowing parents to access for free. And then they have a series of courses where they're trying to, up awareness about computer safety, computer intelligence, things like that. So here you can see this Thursday, they have a cyber threat intelligence course. And then they also have a Alzheimer's New Jersey Understanding Memory Loss, which, obviously could be very helpful for any of those of us that may be dealing with the elder members of our family that are suffering from Alzheimer's. I have to say, all in all, I was really impressed with the kind of breadth of programming that the Jersey City Public Library is offering. So I'll just pause there a moment and ask if there's any questions on that. Okay, fair enough. I'm going to go back to the Jersey City site on this because so there are a few things. So the emergency resources are, tied. It ties into our guests from the MUA tonight, as well as JCPD. The other 3 are just things that I want to talk about that are, kind of interesting and relevant, as far as what the city is offering. So the biodegradable leaf bags, this is something that you can get for free. They will come pick up your leaves for free. You just have to go and actually pick up the bag. So Saturdays noon to 3 from October 2nd to December 18th, right? And then if you click on this full schedule and locations, you find this document, which goes into, every bit of the closest place to you to go get your free leaf bags, to put your leaves in, put them out on the curbside, and when they will actually pick them up for you. So I think this is a great program for Jersey City. Obviously, this is a great program in general, saves you money, which, nobody dislikes doing that. The other one I wanted to talk about was this here. So the Jersey City Emergency Resources. This is kind of a big one insofar as, oh, where did I put those? Oh, those never made it into my deck. Sorry about that. So then we'll just go back here and do that way. There are significant resources. Again, we talked about, Tropical Storm Ida. We talked about the effects. We talked about it last week, effects in various areas of the village. But there are a number of emergency resources that FEMA is partnering with Jersey City to provide. You can see that there are community meetings. There's one that we missed on Kearney Ave in that big City Hall annex. But tomorrow night, there's one in the City Hall caucus room. which again, these are meetings about, information and resources. It's all here as far as how you apply for any of the relief programs that might have, any guidance to the cleanup. The city had dumpsters out at various locations in Jersey City that were affected greatly by flooding, for you to, very unfortunately kind of get rid of all that stuff in your basement that got destroyed. But I just wanted to make you aware of this. And again, we'll link our website to this. This is just really important. And I feel like the city is doing the right thing with providing those resources and accessibility to those resources. And finally, if you got any diapers, not the used kind, please, but you want to you want to provide diapers. This, as I'm sure you all knew, is National Diaper Need Awareness Week, Monday, September 27th. You can drop off diapers any day this week into the caucus room, into City Hall. You just basically drop them off through the front door at the ground floor. Somebody will take them from you and thank you for your generosity. And these will go toward, again, people that require this type of assistance based on, their economics or current, position in life. Something happened in their family, whatever it is. We all need a little help sometimes, and so that's what that one's about. And finally, I'm going to ask Robinson to just kindly jump back on and maybe give us a quick intro to JCast, which is the 31st annual Jersey City Art and Studio Tour. If you haven't done this, this is super cool. There are places that don't normally allow the public to visit that are allowing the public to visit. And again, I love me a website with a countdown. But Robinson, if you wouldn't mind, if you're still there.
I'm here. Yeah, JCast, the Jersey City Art and Studio Tour. It's been going on since the 20th century. And it's a great chance to meet artists in their studios, talk to them, buy art directly from the source.
T-shirt.
Oh yeah, here's a t-shirt from 2017. There's a black t-shirt this year. Free
Nice,
t-shirt. If you go to the kickoff party on Thursday night at Nimbus, there will be t-shirts. There's a sort of two areas for the kickoff party. It's from 6 to 9. Nimbus, which is over on Morgan Street in the Powerhouse Arts District. It's going to be outdoors. That's where all the food and drink and performances will be. And then about a block away at 150 Bay Street, that will be open. That has 4 group shows and 50 plus artist studios on the second floor. That second floor has been turned into an artist studio and gallery space. It just opened in January, so probably you've never been there, but it is kind of visual arts central right now and highly recommended. And that'll be open on Thursday night, and then Friday afternoon and evening, and from noon to 6, Saturday and Sunday, pretty much everything in the city in the arts will be open. And it's a really, really great chance to see a lot of things you don't otherwise see, go to studios. Mana Contemporary is only open, their studios are only open on the Saturday, but everything else is open every day. So seriously, enjoy the arts in Jersey City. We have a lot of great artists. We have a lot of really interesting things going on. TheJcast.com is the website that Eric's showing you. There is a map on there. There are maps here at Village West Gallery, 331 Newark. We have a whole pile of maps, physical maps, and they will be at the headquarters at Nimbus and at 150 Bay as well. So enjoy.
Cool. Thanks, Robinson. I knew you'd knock that one out of the park. All right. I appreciate the backup on that. Back to our deck. Okay. So I'm pleased to see that I believe we have East District Commander Captain Cruz with us. I would like to turn this over. I know that a number of you have over the course of the last couple of months, we've had discussions in these meetings relative to public safety and questions that we've had. And I know, Croissant, thank you for hanging on this entire time. You've been very patient, and I appreciate it, sir. But I'd like to turn it over to the two of you. And again, just remind everyone that, we're here as the VNA to inform. We're here to set up forums like this where you can ask questions from those who have answers. And of course, our one rule is civility and civility first. That said, I'd like to turn it over to you two, if you don't mind. I'd like to welcome you to the VNA meeting. I appreciate it. We had Captain Cruz, your predecessor has been on several of our meetings, and we've always enjoyed that time. We are 100% in support of the police force, and we welcome you both.
Hello.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, good. So good evening. My name is Lieutenant Brigette. I am the executive officer in the East District. So we started this year. It's good to meet everybody. So I'm just here to take questions, see if I can be informative and allay any fears.
I like it. All right, I'll open it up since I walk around the neighborhood walking my dog. Neighbors know my role in the VNA, and I'll tell you two things that I've heard recently. One of which was a surprise to me, the other was not. Right. So the first of which is way further down on the list than the next one, and that's simply package thieves. And we've talked about this before. And I have advocated for, all of us to, be vigilant and look out for each other, right? I mean, if you're walking home, someone 2 doors down has an envelope sitting out in front of their house, grab it, leave them a note, because chances are that's not going to be there half an hour from now. But the more disturbing one, and again, I don't want to editorialize here. I'm just going to pass along the information that I've gotten. A good friend, a neighbor on 2nd Street near us. I live on 1st Street here by Village Park, but on 2nd Street expressed some very significant concerns about, visible police presence, and mentioned some incidents that happened recently. And maybe Michelle, I'll just let you go since that's your neck of the woods.
Hi. Yeah, there was an incident that I think upset me more than anything. Was I don't even remember, it was like 2 weeks ago. There was a young lady 2 doors down. I live at 386, so it had to be 380. She was coming home, coming down the block, and a guy jumped her, like followed her on his bike. And as she turned to go into her gate, he just slammed her with, well, I don't want to say slam. He just jumped her, got off his bike and jumped on her. And she just started screaming. A boyfriend, I think it's a boyfriend, I'm not quite sure, came running down, blah, 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 blah. The guy took off, of course. I think what upset her more, and it got me upset, was the fact that the police didn't come till about an hour later. And that bothers me, because I have a young daughter who works nights at times. Not even that. Any female or any male walking home, and these people on these bikes, whether they're delivering or they look like they're delivering, they're out to harm somebody, and it's just unacceptable. And you know what? It's horrible. The fact that this happened and police didn't show up for an hour got me more crazed. And there's been a lot of like thefts, but theft of breaking into cars. And of course I was asked, did you lock your car? And I said, of course I locked my car, but they got in, doesn't matter, they got in. There's these, I don't know what they're called, catalytic converters. Am I saying it right?
Catalytic converters, yes. This is a thing with Toyotas, I believe.
Yeah, the woman down the block just got the car. And she's like, Mish, and I'm like, what happened? And they just pull up in the middle of the night. Apparently, one incident was they were playing the music loud.
They blast their music, yes.
Yeah, blast the music so you don't hear any of the, I guess, equipment that they're using. They cut it out of their car, and you're screwed. Basically, you're screwed. So these little things, they're not little. These things have bothered me to a point. And then someone said to me, but Mish, when was the last time you seen police presence? And I said to myself, you know what? I haven't. And that makes me sad. I said, because even though, knock on wood, we're a good community, we still should have someone driving past. We still should. We still. We're part of Jersey City. I don't want to bring the tax thing up because we're all suffering from that. But police presence at night, during the day, doesn't matter. The bodega on the corner, 50 kids ride up on their bikes, harass everybody, and boom. And I'm like, you know what? This has to stop. Has to stop. So my question to you would be, what can you do for us? Will there be more police presence? Do we have to, walk around with our own bats and balls and start clocking people on the head?
Hi, I'm Captain Cruz. I'm sorry I couldn't talk before, but I hear your concerns. I don't know, catalytic converter theft has declined. We haven't had too many. We've arrested a couple people for that. There's a bunch of groups that do it. It's somewhere, it's happening all over. In Jersey City right now, it hasn't been on the uptick. It's pretty much under control. The getting into people's cars, if there's no broken window or broken locks, then the doors must have been open because they don't have master keys. So that's something that we can control. It's happened to me 3 times because I personally left my car open just because I forgot. But we have to be conscious to lock our doors and not leave anything of value showing. Police go by there. We have you on our directed patrols. They're not sitting at a specific corner, but they drive around. And if they're on a call, then they can't drive around, but we do have you on directed patrols and people drive around there. There's a particular homeless person that was there. The police were constantly there. The homeless is a problem that we can't control. We'll try to get them help, but most of them don't want the help. So besides just moving them along, there's really nothing we can do. We cannot arrest them. We'll arrest them, they'll be out the next day, and it's the same thing over and over again.
I understand that. I do understand that because it happened to me as she was pulling the flowers out of my garden, and it pissed me off. It really did. And I'm like, yo, lady, cut it out. And then she just took her chair, set up her chair and her cart right in front of my house. I said, okay, this ain't working. And I called.
What you have to do is, yeah, you can call the non-emergency number. We're having problems with that number, not getting a lot of response, but that's not us. That's a city problem. Those are ran by civilians. There are other issues, which probably, when did that person get harassed by that person? Because I didn't read that report.
The next door, the lady at 380. You know what? It had to be not last Monday. Last month, so I think it was that Thursday or Friday the week before. I'm not quite sure. I have a question though. What is the timing of the police patrol? Is it just when they driving down the block, or is it a certain time that they come? That's my question.
It varies. When they're not on a call, they will drive by. The patrol is random when they are available to do it. If they're on a call, they will do their call, and then they'll drive by. If they get another call, they go to their call, and then just, it's part of patrolling.
Right. And how large is their patrol? All of downtown? How many cars are out?
We have different areas, different zones. There's different cars. There's 2-man cars.
Mm-hmm. How many circling Jersey downtown? Just different sections. Like, I'm more concerned about my downtown.
Yeah, we have a car assigned to your area.
I'm sorry?
There is a car assigned to your area.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering because, again, you go out, you take a walk down Newark Avenue, whatever it is, and you want to see something. You want to know that they're watching. They're over my shoulder. That's how I feel. And I feel that for my family. I don't know about anybody else, but I need to have that. Listen, I'm a street girl. I know it's not going to be 100%, but I'd at least like to come to 50 or 60% because the other 40 I can take care of myself with. So 50
or 60% of what?
I'd like to feel that safe. 50% of whatever, 40, 60% to feel safe. I know I'm not always going to be there's always going to be some nut job, and I'm not condemning the police department. I'm just saying I would like to see more police presence. That's it.
Yeah. I understood. I mean, I'd like to
Thank you.
see us get more people and be able to patrol everybody's block, one car per block, if we could.
Right. Yeah, that's not gonna happen, right?
Exactly.
Captain Cruz, can I ask a question? So we have a question in the chat, and James has his hand raised, but I just wanted to ask, is the WhatsApp back up?
WhatsApp is for parking authority.
Yeah.
That doesn't have, you don't get the cops with WhatsApp. That goes to the parking authority.
So you used to, so you don't anymore?
You don't anymore, no.
Got it. Thank you.
You welcome.
Sorry, we have a question in the chat which says, when they patrol, do they ever speak to the kids / adults hanging out, smoking weed and drinking on Marcellus between 1st and 3rd? When I walk my dog, it's almost a nightly thing that we walk past people. So I was
And
actually going to make the comment that that zone back here, kind of near Monaco Lock, just south of PS5, is a bit of the Wild West because it's a dead end condition. So I'll just leave
you
it
need to
there.
call us and tell us what time it is, because that's a site that we've been getting lots of complaints about, and the cops patrol that constantly and they don't see it. So if you could give us more specific dates and times so we could make it a point to be around there. But the cops do go there all the time. We've had these complaints from beginning the summertime, and we have yet to see anybody there. People smoking weed, there's nothing we could do about it. Drinking we can, but smoking weed we can't.
Jesus Christmas.
Yeah.
This is what the people voted for, so there's nothing we could do. Our hands are tied with that. But drinking, we could do something about. People hanging out in their cars and talking in the area. There's nothing we can do about that. You're allowed to be out in public. Playing loud music, we could. There's certain things we can and certain things we can't do without violating people's rights.
Right.
The cops do go by there, and never is there anybody there when we go by.
Fair.
So what I need from you guys is more specifics, like they're here at this time, and it's random times, and
So I'm
something
seeing here the follow-up that it's between 8 and 10 p.m.
every day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What days?
Yep.
Just every day, because the cops go by there and we don't see anything.
Got it.
I personally drive around the city myself. I live in the city. I drive around in the city. If I see something, I address it. I have no problems getting out of my car and handling a situation. And downtown is where I grew up, and that's, I have a lot of pride in downtown and my district. So if something's happening, I want to be there and fix it. I go by there myself. I don't see anything. I go at random times. I live in the city, so I drive around off duty, and I personally don't see anything in that area. I understand that's where people might hang out, but I don't see it. So if you say 8 and 10, I'll see if I drive around there between 8 and 10. See if I could personally see anything.
Yeah, no, fair. I appreciate that. I will say I would like to encourage people to use the non-emergency line. There is a question here. Who is in charge of the non-emergency line?
That's a civilian. I really don't know who is in charge, which I should know, and I apologize. I can get back to you with that answer. Chris, do you know?
Yeah, it's the director. It's a communications department, so it's a Director Baker. I'm not sure exactly. I don't have the contact information. That is something we'd have to get back to you on. But I know it's from what we've heard, it's been an issue, and that they are addressing the issue as far as the communications, the phone number issue. I'm not quite sure. They didn't go into specifics, like the technical stuff as to what's going on with the phone lines, but they do have, it is on their radar and they are aware of it.
Another thing I wanted to mention, when you call the non-emergency line, it means it's not an emergency. The person that was attacked by the biker or whatever, the lady that was attacked by somebody at 380 2nd Street.
Yeah, no,
She-
her husband.
if she calls in and it's in progress, then cops will get there quicker than you say, oh, this happened. And so they're just waiting to have a car freed up to go take a report because there's not a crime happening. So they're not going to drop a crime that's happening
Right.
to go to take a report.
Okay, that's good to know. That's
Yeah,
good to
so
know.
Yep.
if it's in progress, say, listen, she's beating me up right now, the cops will be there. You know,
Okay,
that's the difference between 911 and 547, 5477.
the 547 was for the homeless lady. Beating was from the cop. Yeah,
Yeah, but if you call the non-emergency number, then no, it's a non-emergency and cops are not gonna respond 1, 2, 3. They're gonna be on emergency calls. And the downtown East District where you live at, it's paradise compared to like Booker T, Lafayette, Rutgers, and all that other place. And we patrol that area as well. So that pull our resources from there to there. So once that calms down, then we can go handle what's going on over here.
mhm.
I was
Cities,
gonna
you could
ask.
say.
I was going to ask if you were to look at the city's uniform crime report, would you say that obviously the East District has the lowest crime in comparison to all the, to the north, the south, the West District, all those different areas?
We have more annoying crimes, like the BNTs to cars and the Uber people, they do their deliveries, they run in and then they run back and their car's gone. And those cars that are taken turn into crimes because the people taking
Right.
them are committing crimes with them. They take them, they know where everybody's picking up their food. They jump in the car, take the cars to Newark or other towns, steal a car and more high-end
Right.
car, they keep upgrading. But if
Right.
I say East is number one just because I'm in charge of it and I take pride in my district. In reality, we could be 1 or 2 between the north and the east.
Okay.
Got it.
Captain Cruz, is there a particular sector of crime that you've seen an uptick since you've been at the East District? And do you have enough resources allocated to the East District? Is there something that we need to do to advocate for more resources?
I think that there hasn't been, everything's been steady, in my opinion. It's been steady of what I've seen. The only thing that we can do is us as citizens, we have to be more aware of our surroundings. We have to lock our vehicles. The other thing that I've seen a lot is the scamming of, the senior citizens with the fraud. And it's like, if they're asking you for it to pay by gift cards, that should be a clue, things, calls, if something is not right, then maybe take a step back and look at it. They have where they call, and this happened in our district where they called and they said, oh, we have your grandson, we need money for bail, send us this amount of money. They send the guy to pick up the money, gave her a receipt, and then they asked for more money and they're like, oh, whoa, wait a second. They call and the grandkid is home fine. So these are things, that we ourselves need to be more aware of. If you're walking alone at night and you see somebody on a bike, you don't want to be whatever profiling, but just be aware of your surroundings. Someone's coming at you, maybe take a step back or hide your phone or something. Don't give them something to want to steal from you.
Hey guys, I appreciate that. This is Jason Eddins. I appreciate all you do, and I have a question. And this definitely doesn't rise to the senior scam or assault or anything like that. But I'm just wondering. I live here on Newark Ave. I'm wondering what the rules are in downtown Jersey City for riding bikes on the sidewalk. I walk up and down Newark Avenue, at least once, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And I know it's just a matter of time before somebody gets bowled over with these crazy folks riding these bicycles up and down the sidewalk now.
Are you talking about pedestrian plaza or sidewalks in general?
They're not allowed on sidewalks. Yeah, the pedestrian plaza is one thing because I know there's all the construction and there's not a lot they can do except for avoid it. But it seems like it's all up and down Newark. Like I'm at Newark and 2nd Street. It's all the way down here. It's just it's both the delivery bike folks as well as folks on city bikes. It just seems like everybody thinks it's cool to drive up and down the sidewalks now.
Well, you can't. You're not supposed to be driving on sidewalks. There's a city ordinance for that.
Good. That was the right answer there.
The only other thing that I could suggest is that we can't regulate all these e-bikes and everything. Right now, I think they're working on city ordinances, but there's nothing that the cops can do. Of course, on the sidewalk, we can give them a city ordinance, but them driving in the streets and zooming around, there's nothing really we can do.
Yeah, they can stay in the streets all they want to. I'm just worried
Yeah, but
about,
even in the streets, they drive like crazy. They make noise with their little motors.
yeah, even the ones without the motors. I'm talking about just regular bikes, just zipping up and down the sidewalks with everybody trying to walk and stay out of the street. It's like, you know, I don't know if these people need to be ticketed more. I'm very happy to hear. I assumed it was not right or not legal for them to do it, but I don't know if there's a way that we can, you know, start giving them more fines and start pushing, you know, them off the sidewalk. It just seems like lately, especially like I said, the last 2 or 3 months, these cyclists are just emboldened to just zip up and down the street. I don't know if anybody else is seeing this, but just me, but especially on Newark Ave, it's been bad the last 2 or 3 months.
I'll keep an eye out for that. Thank you. I will make sure that our guys are looking for that. But the bikes are annoying. I'm with you on that. Meaning when you're driving or trying to cross the street, they're all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to have to clothesline somebody because I know that is not the right thing to do, but I do have real long arms.
You might take your arm with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
James, you've had your hand raised. Did you have a question?
Yeah, it's not, my arm's not getting sore. It's okay.
No, you have a virtual hand raised.
No, I know. Thank you. So yeah, thank you both officers for being here tonight. Yeah, I have a question kind of in the vein of the last one, you know, kind of 2 more minor incidents. One is, you know, I was in the park across from PS5, and you know, I actually don't really mind this most of the time. You know, there's a lot of dog walking inside of the baseball field, but you know, there was a woman that was not in control of her dog, and it was a very large dog. It was a pit bull, and did lunge at my daughter on her bike. You know, I understand dogs and bikes don't always mix, but yeah, you know, it's just something that happened. You know, they're not really supposed to be there, and you know, it was just someone that unfortunately couldn't really.
James, was that a white dog and a blonde woman?
It was a blonde woman.
She's notorious. When she can, she will walk that dog inside the playground at PS5, and she has been confronted
with
she's
the
not,
pit bull.
She's not all there. Yes.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. And
when you walk by her, she'll say, "Oh, he's friendly," and then he'll take a lunge at your kid. So please just remember that dog.
Yeah. Okay. I will stay away.
It's a thing back here.
Wow.
I'm telling you, Evelyn can probably back me up on this, but it's a thing.
Well,
Okay.
the dogs aren't allowed in the baseball field. Simply, you know, kids play there, and you don't want them grabbing grass
Yeah.
that has been defecated.
Yeah, I really don't want to tar all dog owners at all. I love dogs, except my brother's allergic, so I didn't have one growing up, but neither here nor there.
I'm telling you, this particular
this
dog owner is an absolute nuisance and makes the
Yeah.
rest of us responsible dog owners look bad.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
so if
It's
you
just
can,
someone
give me
not
the
in control
time-
of their dog. Absolutely
Give
not in
me the
control.
time and dates that she's in the baseball field, and I'm not saying it's gonna happen tomorrow, but we'll be on the lookout for it, and maybe we can get her when she's in there and give her a verbal warning and just
Mhm.
educate her on the rules, you know.
Yeah,
etiquette,
yeah.
dog etiquette.
Yeah, it was an evening. The baseball field lights were on. I think
Usually it's
probably
the
a
same
weekday,
time when you
but-
walk a dog.
what?
Usually it's the same time of day when you walk a dog, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't remember the exact time for this particular incident, but it was definitely an evening, and yeah, you know, so I wanted to actually also segue into just it's kind of question, but you know, it's something that is an issue that has come up as part of the campaigning for council seats and whatnot this year, is the potential for walking patrols. As I, you know, think about like this dog incident, some of the, you know, if there's like a congregation of folks that, you know, may be doing something, And then also, I'm also thinking of, you know, again, this is much smaller stakes versus violence, but you know, just people just parking like right in the crosswalk, you know, blocking off, yeah, you know, either the bike lane or just, you know, people walking around. You know, sometimes it's has to do with pickup time. Sometimes it's just like out of town, you know, rideshare drivers or whatnot. You know, I wonder if like a foot patrol could possibly help with being able to address some of these issues potentially better than, you know, if you're going by in a car a little bit faster. Yeah, I just would love to hear thoughts on that.
Parking, we have parking authority that can handle it. If you see any parking complaints, you have the WhatsApp, you can report it through there and they respond right away. But as far as taking cops out of patrol to do walking posts, we could consider that, but I don't think it's possible right now.
I have to say, Captain Cruz, that's really useful information. Because again, you know, not too long ago, the WhatsApp was connected to at least one patrol car at all times, and you would use that for things that were beyond the parking. So that's actually super helpful, and we'll absolutely disseminate that information that says, hey, you got a parking issue, you know, whatever. That's what you use that app for. So really, honestly, I thank you for that. That's kind of, in my mind, that's huge.
Glad I could help.
Because you got to be able to separate them, right? Like you can't be. You've got real crime things to worry about and real public safety issues to worry about that, you know, some entitled person parks in the middle of a crosswalk. I shouldn't waste your time. So that's encouraging to me.
Yeah, but if I drive by it, I do summon it.
That is true.
Well, we appreciate that. Listen, it's at 8:20. Again, like I said, the agenda was light, but I knew that these were going to be lively conversations. I would like to leave the rest of the time that we have for the Municipal Utilities Authority. Any last comments or questions? I do want to say to both of you, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate, you know, I'm going to say feeling the love here in the village. We are 100% in support of our police force, and please let us know if there's anything we can do to advocate for you. But again, I really appreciate you joining us tonight.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having us. I'm sorry I didn't like Chris talk too much.
No, that's okay. I'm DXO. I can be a second. There was I was actually just taking notes on the chat, so I got some of the times that everybody said for the two issues.
Sweet.
And since somebody did request it, they could have my email for contact. It's first name, first initial C, and then B as in boy, ERE, G as in golf, UETTE at njjcps.org. You know what? I'll also write it in chat so it's easier for people to get.
Put the community relations email there, because we get the community relations email. We all get it in the office. So let's say Lieutenant Brigette is off, I will get it, and so will my clerks. Somebody can handle it that day. That's the reason why I give out that email, so we can all get it.
That's wonderful.
I'll add that one in there as well.
Thank you. I'm a little Zoom challenged, so I don't know where you get that the comments.
It's all right. Lieutenant Barrett, he's fancy. He knows what he's doing. I could tell. Lieutenant Captain, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. You are, of course, welcome to stay with us. But we really appreciate your attention.
All right. I'll stay for a little bit. Chris, if you have to go, you can, go do your thing.
I wasn't trying to guilt you into it. I'm just saying you're welcome.
Okay. Well, it was nice meeting everybody. I hope to see you guys later on.
Likewise.
Folks.
Thanks.
Okay. Have a good one. Good night, all.
All right. So for the purposes of just doing a proper segue into our next discussion, here's, oh God, this is embarrassing as a graphic design slide, but in any case, Jersey City Municipal Utilities Authority is our next guest, and we'll close this out for the evening for the remaining 35-ish minutes that we have. So I would just like to sort of start off the same way and say thank you for joining us. And hopefully, oh, there you are, you're still with us. So welcome. I'm going to leave it open, same sort of format, please, civility at all costs. And general, Q&A. I didn't know if you wanted to lead off with anything, but I'm sure there's going to be some questions about, future projects and flooding concerns that we've had here in the village. And I'll just leave it there.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. My name is Rich Haytas. I'm the chief engineer for the Jersey City MUA. Again, just a basic, we handle the water and sewer throughout Jersey City. I know the last two storms and were very difficult for everybody. We're still recovering. But if, I'm open to any questions, anyhow I could help, I'll be more than happy to assist or make sure I direct you in the right direction to address the problem.
Do I need to lead
Does
off here
anybody-
too? All right, I'm going to lead off as I did before. So thank you, Rich, for joining us. I'm going to say something that you should be aware of, and I want to hear your thoughts on this in general. We see a lot of development here in downtown Jersey City. We certainly see a lot of development here in the village. As a board, we have discussed as recently as our board meeting prior to this meeting, the need to enforce, zoning laws relative to lot coverage, right? Like we're seeing, I'm going to call it incremental creeping of development that, wants less of a setback and increased lot coverage. And on a case by case basis, it may seem like a negligible, thing, but when you take it in its totality and you really think about it holistically, you're cutting away a lot of existing greenscape in downtown. And so we as a group have been really pushing things like stormwater management. We want to see the introduction of bioswales. We want to see green roofs. We want to see proper drainage. We even want to, in the larger developments, go so far as to see, bioswales that drain into, basins, at the lower level of a development. And I guess where I could see a question here rather than a statement to say that, hey, we're with you and we're doing what we can to, to try to sort of affect change. Do you happen to know, at what scale does a development trigger the need for those types of things? Like we've had developers come to us and sort of complain like, oh, well, I need this extra story because the city is making me put in this entire new drainage system that ties into the city's system, right? Do you happen to know if there's a tipping point, in either square footage or lot size that the city then pushes back and says, no, you need to put in your own system?
Currently, right now, we are working on amending the city ordinance for detention basins for a lot that's 25 by 100. So if somebody's building a typical house on a lot 25 by 100, they're going to need to do some kind of stormwater detention. Basically, what we've been seeing is the underground storage that all their stormwater, if it's a commercial building, a residential structure, all their stormwater goes into the underground pipes. It's stored there until the rain event is over with. When the sewers return back to normal operating conditions, the storage tanks then bleed the water back into the system slowly. So even though there's a lot of development, and I explain this a lot to a lot of the meetings I go to, yes, what used to be a green lot or, a lot that was pervious, the developers are mandated and they will not get their permits unless they do some type of stormwater detention. There is nothing by rules right now that we require bioswales. We're under federal mandated consent decree back in 2008, which we are replacing a lot of sewers in a lot of the different wards throughout Jersey City. We are including in that project putting in bioswales in areas that the city engineering department recommends. So areas where we could get in, where it's not going to take up too many parking spots. We're doing a project right now on West Side between Broadway and SIP. So we get recommendations from Jersey City Engineering Department with the bioswales or the tree pits. And as we're putting in new water and sewer mains down the block, if the resident so chooses to have a tree pit in front of their house, we put it in for them.
Rich, is there any, the pervious, what do you call it? The pavement over by PS5, which was an MUA project. Is there any indication of having more of that all over the city, or is just that one project?
No, we have certain areas, again, Newark Avenue between Grove and I believe Cole Street. That's going to be an area where the water is absorbed into the ground and it reduces the capacity inside the combined sewer system. There are areas that we are looking at right now. Some of the areas that come in the downtown area that come to mind is Wayne Street. We're doing some tree pits there and bioswales. We've done some up in the Heights. We've done some on Newark by Tunley Avenue. So yes, we want to see more of that. And also our long-term control plan, which is administered by the NJDEP, they are requiring the city or all combined sewer municipalities to have the tree pits and the bioswales incorporated in the possibility of reducing street flooding and residential flooding.
And when do you think the DEP will approve the pipes that's going to go on the on Mercedes and Seconds around that area? Do you anticipate it to be relatively soon?
I just got a meeting today. I am setting a contractor up for a new sewer on First Street between Mercedes and Brunswick. And then we're going to work towards, we're going right around the block to 2nd Street. So those two areas, actually, I did speak to the chief of staff today, and I told him that we need to do that because the new development is coming on 2nd and Mercedes, and I know that area was inundated in the last 2 storms.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Hey, Danny.
How are you? Hey, Rich.
Yes.
I believe I met you a few weeks ago. I met you with my neighbor, Sean, the architect, on 5th and Monmouth.
Yes.
I don't know if you recall, I have the house with all the construction going on right on the corner.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask you, have there been any updates on this pump station that I've been hearing about to connect 5th Street to the 6th Street pump station?
Yes. I just got an email. I'm going through my emails now. Jay Fletcher Kramer, who is one of our emergency contractors, will be mobilizing on this Thursday to start cleaning the end of the outfall pipe, and we'll be proceeding to install approximately 30 more linear feet of box culvert out into the Hudson, in which we will be putting in or installing the pumps. That's a 9-month project. We're starting Thursday. Kramer will be mobilizing, and we're moving forward with that project.
Okay, so that will, because Sean explained it to me one time. I don't recall what he was saying because, as you know, our area was waterfront property at that moment, so I had other pressing items to take care of.
Yeah.
However, I mean, you know what's funny? I used to live on the waterfront. I moved away from it, but it followed me. But so where my intersection is connected to Newark Ave. Is that what?
Yeah.
And can you kind of explain that? Like my wife is here, she's never heard that explanation, so I kind of like wanted her to hear it firsthand from someone that knows, because I don't know the thing.
Okay, so Fifth and Monmouth, because I got the sewer maps right in front of me.
Perfect.
Fifth and Monmouth. So what happens is it collects 2 or 3 houses where you live, and it heads down on Monmouth Street and connects into the 4th Street drainage area.
Okay.
So what we are doing, since that area is a bowl, we call it a bowl, we are going to reconnect those catch basins to a storm sewer that once Kramer is done with the pump station, we're going to reconnect those catch basins to a new storm sewer that's going to be put on Monmouth Street from 5th Street and connecting to the 6th Street trunk sewer. So we're literally taking those catch basins off the combined sewer that goes down 4th Street, and we're rerouting them to the 6th Street drainage area.
Because 6th Street had I don't recall seeing any issues. I mean, the funeral home, they've had tons of issues, but other than that, I don't think 6th Street has any issues when it rains heavy.
The only 6th Street, the funeral home, and it's amazing because the funeral home had we have no sewer mains on Monmouth Street between 5th and 6th on our maps. So the funeral home had their own lateral that came out and ran down to 5th Street. Now, when we did our sewer upgrade not too long ago, the pipe was damaged because we were unaware of anything that was, below where we were digging. Yeah. So we put a new sewer in there and we repaired his sewer, so he has no problems. The only place on 6th Street that it does flood is 6th and Division in Newark.
Yeah, it gets crazy there. It gets crazy.
Correct. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be putting in a new sewer where we left off on 6th Street between Monmouth and Coles, and we're bringing it right up to Newark and Division.
Okay, so it's a 9-month process for this pump station to be built. And once it's built,
yeah,
you will take us off from 4th Street and connect us to the 6th Street base.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, please.
And for the folks who live on the 2nd Street, which would be Mercedes, 1st Street, 2nd Street, with the extensive flooding that occurred, we met with FEMA, and we're working with FEMA because if we continue to have the rains that we've seen in the last month or so,
yep.
I'm very concerned. So what we are trying to do is we're trying to retrofit all our netting facilities, which are located at the foot of the Hudson. We are installing what is called submersible pumps. So when it rains heavy and we have these intense storms, Jersey City has a combined sewer system, which again, everything when it rains, most of it, the first flush, we call it, goes to our treatment plant at Passaic Valley. The rest of it's diluted with rainwater. So what happens at the foot of 2nd Street, 6th Street, 14th Street, we have 23 regulators. Once the sewers get inundated with the rain, the regulators shut down and everything goes out to the Hudson River, the Penhorn Creek, or the Hackensack. In order to collect any bottles or large floatables from going into the river, we have what is called netting facilities that we built back in the 98, 99. And what we're doing is we're retrofitting them and putting in pumps where if it is high tide and we have this heavy rain, the pumps will kick on automatically and it'll pump the CSO into the Hudson River as opposed to going out there like it used to go by gravity. So when we had these heavy rains and without the pumps, the gravity flow would have to overcome the high tide, which then it would back up into the system, and it would start at Marin, Manila, Grove, Erie, and all the way up to Mercedes. So now with these pumps, what they're going to do is take that flow and overcome the high tide to alleviate the flow in the sewer. So everybody downstream or upstream, being Mercedes and Brunswick, they'll be able to get the flow into the pipe to get out to the Hudson.
So once again, don't go swimming in the Hudson.
Well, you know what? I agree.
Rich, that's
I
huge.
agree,
That's
but-
huge, man. I've been writing all this down. This is really interesting information.
It is, and like somebody, the Hudson, a lot of people when they talk, they say, "Oh, well, we discharge sewage." It's not 100% sewage. It's more likely 99% rainwater and 1% sewage. But yes, swimming in the Hudson, I don't recommend, especially a day or two after a rainstorm event. But again, with older cities, Jersey City, Bayonne, Elizabeth, we
Yeah.
all have these combined sewers that are problematic. And where we can do sewer separation, we try. I mean, we're moving forward. We're making large strides than we ever did before, but it's a very big undertaking, especially with the growth of the city, the development, and all the utilities that's in the streets.
Yep. Understood. Mr. Michaels, you've had your hand raised for some time. If it weren't virtual, you would definitely be sore.
Hey, how's
How
it
you
going?
doing? Good, man.
Good. I think actually Danny's question cleared up a lot of my questions. I'm right on Monmouth between 4th and 5th, so we also had a very fun time during Ida, and
Yep.
I guess a lot of that answer right there kind of cleared things up a little bit. But I was kind of curious. I feel like we're in kind of a lower spot over here, and I know everything was fine, and then in a 1 minute period, the sewers were just like, all right, we're done. And everything just started flowing like a waterfall into my basement. And I'm just curious, with this pumping plan, is there, not to ask for crazy details, but like, what's the level of confidence that this could handle? I know Ida was pretty nuts, but it looks like there's going to be more and more often that, we could, that with this plan, we could have handled that without the sewers just getting totally overwhelmed.
Correct. And again, a lot of people think, the pumps are going to, there's no storm that's going to, that's these pumps are let me just, there's always going to be a storm that's going to exceed the capacity of the pumps. I mean, I've worked for Jersey City for 25 years. And I mean, when we had 3 inches, I thought it was terrible because people got flooded. But again, if we have 3 inches of rain in a matter of 2 hours, these pumps are going to keep everything down and to a minimum. I mean, if we have another 8 inches of rain, it's going to be like trial and error. And you got to understand that,
Sure.
We're within our easement. If I could build a big vault and put 25 pumps on the Hudson, I definitely would look into that. But we have a certain easement between Lefrak and Goldman Sachs, not Goldman Sachs, Lefrak and Newport, and we're trying to retrofit. We're trying to retrofit this in, but again, we're doing here at 6th Street. If you ever walk at the Hudson River, the 6th Street outfall is an 8x10 box culvert. Only 90% of it is only 10% of it is visible because the silt from the Hudson washes it in. So once we clean that out, and we do all these other pumps at 2nd Street and at 6th Street and at 14th Street, there's going to be a lot more flow that's going to enter into the Hudson, which again, the DEP is not going to like, but you know what? I'd rather have it go into the Hudson than into people's basements, but that's going to relieve a lot of the surcharging in the sewer for the people on 5th and Monmouth, then 2nd and Marcelli's to get the flow into the sewer to get to the Hudson.
Okay, thanks. That makes it a lot clearer exactly what the plan is, and I appreciate you guys, thinking and addressing this stuff. It's great.
Yeah, no, the mayor is on board and the director's on board, and just so I'm here 25 years. I've always, I know how the folks that live in downtown feel, because every time it rains, I say, you know what, I'm going to get blasted. And I go to everybody's house and I see the damage it creates. But we've always had a problem also on York Street and Grand Street. And we implemented these 4 pumps into our netting facility, which is right on the Goldman Sachs or the walkway, Colgate walkway there. And since then, I've never got a call that, residents had to back up. I mean, we did have a few street flooding issues during Hurricane Ida, but not like we used to do. And I'm hoping that that would mirror the image to the folks down on 6th Street, 5th Street, when we implement all these stormwater pump stations. We also put one in at Minna Drive, that has been very successful also, keeping the Country Village area very dry. So they do work. And as I said, there's always going to be a storm. Now we could be good for 6 inches, but there might be one storm that we have 10 inches. And the pumps are just not going to be able to keep up.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate the continual improvements. I got to run and say goodnight to my daughters. Peter Farrell, don't be shy. You've had your hand raised. Please speak up, brother.
Yeah, I just had one follow-up. You had said you're going to do some changes on 2nd and Marcellus. My question was on, that new project is going in there between on Marcellus between 2nd and 3rd, essentially. 3rd
Correct.
Street down by where the new project is going to be, 3rd Street where the school is and the playground, that kind of big intersection down there at Marcellus and 3rd also floods the street. Is the project that you're going to be doing on 2nd going to alleviate that flooding on that corner, or is it just for the flooding that backs up into the houses on 2nd?
No, that's also going to help with the flooding at Marcellus and 3rd and 2nd, that entire area. The pump station that we're looking into putting on at the foot of 2nd Street is going to help that area also.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that this was really helpful information. I think I saw a lot out there that was like a very different explanation of the flooding than what you've covered here. So I think it's just like worth noting that the issue doesn't seem to be like individual drains being like too dirty or having debris on top of them. This is really much more of a downstream problem. But part of the problem actually is debris, but way down into where you're into the culverts you were talking about, and where it's going into the Hudson River, actually.
Correct. And I mean, I could send you pictures as time goes on. I mean, 9 months, I'm hoping that we'll be all up and running before the next, spring. Kramer is one of the most premier contractors. I mean, you probably see his truck all over. We declared an emergency. We picked him because he's very well at getting the job done. We're hoping it moves quick, we're up and running. So in the event that next year we have any of these storms, we will be able to.
We will.
We handle them. The one thing I'm saying to everybody, I need a drought for next year.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm sorry, brother. It's not coming.
I'm building a wall.
I'd rather hand out bottles of water
Yes,
than to see
100%.
the devastation.
100%. Mark, you had something?
Yeah, very tangential to this conversation. I live on 5th between Brunswick and Monmouth, so shout out to Danny there.
Mark.
Yeah. Okay. So in 2017, we were doing some construction here, and we had to, when we redid our water and sewage lines, from house to street, we had to, by building, put in a by sewage line, basically one that was going to be for a storm, and one for sewage, but they were to be teed together and hit the sewer main on 5th.
Correct.
And my question is, if that was a mandate, and obviously still is, and might have existed before 2017, there must be some plan to put storm drains in the streets.
Maybe that is a requirement for the DEP. Yes, they require us to run separate sanitary and storm to the street for all new construction. In the event that the city ever wants to relocate or install a storm sewer to get it out into the surrounding water body, we're trying to do that closer to the blocks that are like such as Newport, who has that. The blocks that are closer to the river, because again, unfortunately, you living on Fifth Street between Brunswick and Monmouth, by the time we get to the river with a storm drain, we'll probably be under the tide level. And what happens is the same thing. It would be the same case that if it rains heavy and there's high tide, we would have to install another pump station. But most importantly, one reason why the city does not go that way is because at every intersection, when a contractor is digging in the street, he calls what is called a mark out. And between the gas and the electric, sometimes you can't get a storm sewer there without relocating several utilities that cost a lot of money. So I think years ago, when the city looked into doing some sewer separation in the downtown area, it costs more to relocate existing utilities that were in the way, such as PSE&G or Verizon, than just to run the storm sewer out to the Hudson River.
Okay. Just seems odd that we're being forced to do it. Yeah.
That doesn't mean that 20 years from now, 25 years from now, the city's not going to take that approach. And just like in Newark, in New York, if there's PSE&G or Con Edison in the way of a water main or a sewer main, it is the burden of the utility company to relocate their utility out of the way of the municipality's utility. Unfortunately, in New Jersey, we don't have that here. I've looked into, doing that, because the more water we get out of the combined and into the Hudson, the better off it is for, for the abatement of backflows into residential houses.
Thank you, Rich. That's really helpful.
Now, just keep in mind, I have another project that is going to benefit a lot of the downtown area. It's not going to take, we already have a consulting engineer on it. I'm looking to get it done, or at least get it approved by the state in the next 4 years. We're looking to run a new storm sewer down Newark Avenue, coming straight down like 4th Street, and then tying every catch basin from 3rd and 2nd into this new storm sewer that's going to go out to the Hudson. Now, we're not going to pick up individual houses, but we're going to pick up all the catch basins at the intersection and bring them out to the Hudson River. That is a project that the mayor and the developer, the director of the MUA, seen that it was necessary last year. And I've been working with the CME, who is our consulting engineer on the project. And we are doing, it's called the Hilltop Storm Sewer Separation. And like I said, it's going to come down Newark Avenue. And I believe it's either going to come down 2nd, 3rd Street, and we're going to pick up all the catch basins as we run east to the Hudson River to get it out into the Hudson River. So, with like I said, 5-6 years from now, you're going to start seeing actual construction on that.
Man, I got to say, this is exactly the kind of thing I was hoping to get from you tonight. Like, you've hit it out of the park, my friend. Seriously, I really appreciate it, because I know there are a lot of people, as you know, have a lot of concerns, and I was really hoping to hear, like, this is what we're going to do. And I appreciate that.
No, listen, we have a plan of what we're doing. As long as everything keeps on moving in the right direction, the DEP provides us with the low interest loans, which they've been very great. I mean, they gave us a lot of money. We're working toward our long-term control plan. We're working toward completing our consent decree. And the most of all, we again, we don't want to see people flood. There's no way, that's not a way to live. And we know that, moving forward, we're going to have more of these storms, and we have to be prepared for it.
Thank you. Hey, Rich, I just want to say, please reach out to us if there's anything that we can do to advocate for you, right? Like, there's nothing more important, obviously, than people keeping dry and, not losing, like, valuable property. So please let us know if there's any way we can support you. And I've only got a couple minutes left. I want to just make a statement, which I'm sure, Rich, you are 100% aware of it, but in the event there's anything in what I'm about to say that is interesting to you, I just want to say it. So I live on First Street between Brunswick and Colgate. And this corner of Colgate flooded epically. I have never seen it like that. I've only lived here 7.5-ish years. But in that time frame, it's never been that bad, right? And I know you're going to advise against this next time, but I put on a bathing suit and I walked down the middle of the street, and the water was mid thigh when I got to the corner. I'd never seen it like that. But I'm going to say that hours before, right, the developer of this particular building that I'm in, this is a 3 condo unit building, and it's 9 years old. It's a relatively new building. They installed a very sophisticated pump system that allows us to divert the water from the city system into my backyard. And fortunately, a couple years ago, I did a complete renovation of the backyard. I put in this canine grass, and I put in new pavers, but I did it to the manufacturer's specs because I'm an architect and that's how I roll. So I could probably take thousands of gallons of water and it will drain, right? So my drainage is great. That doesn't bother me. But what I want to say is we were down in the basement. This was hours before the storm, and our sump pump basin, which is about 3 feet deep, was full and continuing to rise. So we diverted the water, and it was like the most beautiful day ever. It had not even started to rain yet, and we diverted the water into our backyard. So I'm wondering, are you aware of that? Like to me, I felt like there must have been a significant storm surge that filled up the city system so that everything that rained, literally every bit of that water, was above ground back here.
No, the only thing that I am aware of, and I still get calls, is that I know between the August 22nd storm that dumped approximately 6 inches of rain, and then the hurricane that dumped approximately 8 inches, that the groundwater table from the first storm was and remained high during the second storm. So, like,
so
right
it was
now,
cumulative.
I'm getting
Interesting.
Yes.
Got it.
And unfortunately, again, I've dealt with a lot of people who lived in Jersey City all their life, and they never had any type of water, sewage, rainwater, groundwater. But when these buildings are built, they do have a tendency to disturb underground streams. And where a stream used to go through the building, now it's diverted because now this new building put footings and foundations in, and now it's affecting people that never had that before. And I do get a lot of calls on that.
Interesting.
And I could tell you that, it's just, people closer to like the downtown area and the folks that live in Country Village, it's the groundwater table has not dropped yet. It's still higher than it's ever been before.
Got it. Listen, Rich, I can't thank you enough for joining us. This information to me has been invaluable. I hope everyone's, gained a little knowledge. Please send us any emails or any questions. Everybody be safe. Really, it's always good to see everyone. On a little personal note, this has been a bittersweet meeting for me. I couldn't figure out exactly how I felt about today because, the first thing that happened is I got my piece of mail from the AARP since I turned 50 on Friday. And I got the welcome to the 50s club, which says that I can get a free insulated trunk organizer if I sign up today. Like, apparently when you turn 50, you really need to have your shit in your trunk organized. Anyway, I just had to share. I love you all. We'll see you next month. All right.
Thanks, Rich. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.